All right. So guys, today we're going to have a look at ASANA AI. So AI is the big buzzword at the moment. And it's nice. It generates billions of dollars in the US, but the question is, how can we use it? And how can it actually help us be more productive? So I've been researching in the past days AI for ASANA. I've also been comparing it to their competitors, to Monday and to Trello and others. And I must say that the Asana one is tons better. It has some really cool feature. So I have experimented it a little bit. I have personally not used it in production yet, but I know my staff use it already to correct text, to change intonation of their sentence, their report and stuff. So I'm going to try using it as well. But I want to show you different functionality. Before we jump into that, I will simply go through a little bit of an introduction of who we are, etc., and also introduction of how Asana approaches AI and how to approach AI in general. And then I'll show you how it works. I don't know if we need an hour and a half, probably only 40 minutes. But it's quite interesting. And it evolves all the time. So there is also an agenda for release, which I'm not authorized to release to you, but there is in Q2, Q3, there will be more AI coming. And it's quite interesting. I'm not going to present Platinum Partner because you already know who we are, guys, and I skip those parts. So as we are in small committee, I'm going to jump directly into the main subject, which is AI and what AI problems can solve. Maybe I can ask you the question, Arthur, Steph, John, if you have some idea of what AI could solve as a problem for you in Asana, what do you think it could solve?
Think maybe some prioritization once it gets busy. So in terms of which tasks to focus on, more so than a formula does now.
Yeah, it's good. Workload is actually, I'm not supposed to say it, but workload is in the future release. So workload management will be managed by AI if you use Asana. That will be a big move. Yes.
Sorry, are you talking about like capacity demand matching? Like workload,
capacity
management across resources?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I was thinking, good point. So it's doing that now, or it's going to do that?
Unofficially, I'm telling you that it's going to do it in the next quarter.
Thank you.
Pursuit. And Steph, did you have any desire that you would like to see Asana help you?
I think sort of more in the workflow and alerting side, I think, coming up with some suggestions there. Thanks, Martin.
So AI also in the next, I think quarter 3 will have a workflow. So it will build automatic automation for you dynamically based on the activity you have in Asana. So that's coming as well, but I'm not supposed to tell you. And John, do you want to join the conversation?
Yeah, I put prioritization, but also smart ways of estimating effort, which is probably an impossibility, but there we go. Maybe if you've been using it, say, for 18 months, it may give some indication of effort.
Yeah, that's a good point. I totally join you there. Maybe we can feed all that back to Asana. I haven't seen anything on estimation and prioritization yet in their roadmap, so that would be nice. But if we look at how Asana connects to what does AI and how Asana, and thank you very much everyone for your input. So as you know, AI will need data to be able to help you. At the moment, if you look at other tools, and I think again, Monday, Trello, and the other ones, they have implemented AI, but what they have implemented is basically a connector to ChatGPT. So you can ask them to write an email for you or review your text. But it's not connected to the platform yet. And what I find interesting with the Asana one is it's actually already connected to the platform. So it's going to already look at your task, look at your projects, and try to do something with it. So that was quite a nice thing. If we look at what AI could be solving for us, we're trying to look at manual and repetitive work. So let's try to move that away from us so that we can innovate and work on our creativity. Remove inefficient processes or streamline them or have them to go faster or better. So when we see something not working very well, to flatten it and make it work better. Activity-based staffing. So working more on the outcome more than on the activity. Reporting and analysis of data. That's one of the big things that we see first. Just remember that AI is very, very, very young. We're still all trying to understand what it's going to do. At the moment, one of the big things it does is dive into information and try to tell you a summary of it. And we see that in ASANA as well. So it does that too. And today we see 61% of the executive wants to have AI because they think it will actually make their job and the job of their team easier. Another thing that I would like to add is there's different places where AI can be added. And we'll see that ASANA actually covers it all, where other competitors just do a little part of it. So the problem when we reach AI is also to understand how data is going to be used and what control we're going to have over how the AI is impacting our life and the work we do. So there are 5 different mantras that ASANA has developed. The first one is AI should help people achieve their goal. It should be a complement to the human and not replace it. People are making the decision, not the AI. And commitment to safety in the short and long run. So no data protection and in the future as well. Transparency in practice of products. So explain always, all the time, what and how the AI is being used. Now we've set up around the AI some very important structure to make sure that the AI was not actually going to impact either data security or sovereignty. So data sharing, we only share data that is necessary to complete the query. So one of the things to know is that in ASANA, you have the ability to choose which AI tool you're going to use with ASANA. So you don't have one there's one by default, but you can change, you can use different ones. And so we're going to use a third party to provide the AI functionality. And we're going to teach that third party, how to use our data. So information that we provide to that third party, it's important to understand that it's not in ASANA anymore. So as soon as you open the AI, you send it somewhere else, and you need to be careful about what happens. We only share the information that are necessary to complete the query, so we don't share more than that. And they do not use those third-party DAI to train their model, but only to answer your question. And they do not retain their data, so they use it to generate the answer, and then they throw it away, and it's not safe. So it's very important on those things because your data, once it's out, it will be used for many different things. Now the next interesting part, as I was mentioning before, is if we look at the competitor of ASANA, every one of them uses AI for one thing, which is to help the end user. And it's going to help you to create an email. It's going to suggest you some things, but really it's limited at the end user, the staff who does the work, which is nice. But what ASANA has done is actually it's going to help at different levels. So they've called that intelligent copilot, collaboration radar, and air traffic control. Really, the intelligent copilot is going to help the end user. We are on a task. We want to have a summary of the task. We want to create subtasks. We want to have some suggestions. It comes in here and it helps us. That's great. It's also going to help us in the setup, the collaboration radar, but setup of workflows, setup of custom fields. It, for example, is going to try to find custom fields that are the same between projects and remove the duplication of custom fields, which I think is something that Stephanie, you would be interested in. And it's going to help us to structure those projects better and to report on those projects better. So not just the operator, but also the managers, the person that set up the system. And finally, it's going to help us to set up, that is not available today, by the way, but air traffic control. It's going to help us to set up goals and match goals with activities so that we have the entire pyramid linked together. And I personally find that their approach is really good. It's progressive, it has a good approach, look at it, and it just touches every point we need to touch. If we look at it today, how is AI helping in ASANA? What is available today? Because Again, there is a list of new functionalities that are coming in the coming quarter. I'm not allowed to share it with you. However, if you want to know more, I can have a call with you and discuss it. But I'm not able to show it to you on the screen or to share you the documentation. So today we have the intelligent copilot, and I'm going to demonstrate to you now. It's going to help us to actually achieve work directly in our ASANA as an end user. So I'm going to open my ASANA on my screen. I'm going to show you right now how it works. So in ASANA, the AI is configured first of all by going on the top right hand here in the admin console. When you open the admin console, you will have the ability to add AI. Actually, that will be in settings, correct? Optimize artificial intelligence. It's here, and you can then decide to power the ASANA by ASANA AI, OpenAI, or Anthropic. So you can define which of your data, where your data is going. If you want to stay within AI, within ASANA, you can provide on this one. And you can also use those platforms, which are better, obviously, because they are more advanced, those third party to generate the content of ASANA. If you don't check on that, then it's not going to have the AI function. Now, once you've checked this, you will see that on your screen, you will see appearing this little Ask AI button. You will find it in different places. Here we have it on the project. Also have it on the task. So everywhere you write, you'll be able to, on the comment, you will see that little AI Ask function. The same, I think, appears when you are writing the document here. And you're going to be able to use this AI to help you improve your activities. This project we have here has been going through the demonstration. It's called ASANA Intelligence. And essentially, it's a project that helps me around an EMEA or world rollout of whatever product we're looking at. Some tasks, some sections, some custom fields. If we go into customization as well, we see the custom fields. We see that there's a task template, there's some sections, there's no bundles, and there's no rules at the moment.
Martin, to have that in your admin console, do you have to have a particular license? Because I don't have that.
So the AI is normally available to all the enterprise and also business. You should be the administrator of your system. If you're not the administrator of your system, there are different levels of administrators. But normally you should have it in your, you don't see it today in your admin console?
Yeah, I can see the admin console, but under settings, I don't have the AI feature. Is that because it has to be activated somewhere else?
No, only if it's part of your licenses, you should have it here. I can have a look at your license after, make sure that we have it activated, but it should be here.
Okay, thank you.
Do you see the AI button on your screen as well, or you don't see it?
Sorry, it's called Optimize with ASANA Intelligence. Is that right? Is that the AI?
Yeah, that's the AI
Okay,
function.
sorry. Yeah, thank you.
No worries. All right. So when you ask the AI, so one important thing to know is they've changed the licenses as well for ASANA. So we had Enterprise before, and now we have Enterprise and Enterprise Plus. The new function of AI will only be available in Enterprise Plus. Obviously, top end. Now, if we are an end user, how can we use the AI of ASANA? A few things. We can go here on any of the tasks, and when we write something, we are then able to leverage the AI to change the tone or to summarize the task. So we can edit our writing, which is probably a bit short. But we can edit the writing, and when we edit the writing, it's going to first of all remove the typos and remove the issues in our text. You see, I did not put it added some words that I did not put because I went a bit fast. So it's going to correct, first of all, my writing, which is great. And then I'm going to be able to change the tone I use and be more direct. And I can then decide how short or how long I want this should be written. And the AI is going to rewrite my text for me and remove the typos, but rewrite the text to match different tones, different situations. So that's one of the first things. We are able now to ask AI to write text first, so we can write it ourselves. It's going to help us summarize it. Another thing we can do, oops, I'm going to discard this, and then you can basically replace, by the way, your comment, or you can copy paste and put it somewhere else. One thing you can do, you can come here and you can summarize the task. So you can ask, that's very useful if you come on a task that has been discussed for a while. You have a request, a ticket, and there's been like a thread of discussions for months. You can ask the AI to come and say, please summarize me the task. And it's going to go and read at all the thread and all the activity on the task, and it's going to try to make a summary for me of what has happened and obviously where we are at. So that's a very nice one to be able to catch up on what happened on your task, but also to have a look at the description of the task, the subtask, and everything else. Really. Now, as an end user, that's some of the most important functions. If I am on my project and I want to catch up with my project, I'm also able to come here and say, well, I want to know what's happening on this project. So imagine I am a manager and I want to come here and I want to know some information. I want to be able to come here and ask ASANA Intelligence, and I can then ask any questions around the project. The first thing is it's going to start by generating questions that he thinks is important for the project. It's going to have a look at the project and then suggest you some questions you could have. The second part is you can then write your own question, or you can choose one of those ones. So if I say here, how is the implementation of performance metrics and monitoring task processing is on track to be completed within the expected timeline? It's then going to gather the information and look at all the tasks, the history, the custom fields, information, etc., and generate for me an answer to that question. Obviously, to know if that generation is interesting, you're going to have to try it. We tried it last week. We actually sent a survey with a form on ASANA to all employees to see how they were using ASANA, if they were seeing a difference, and if things were going better. And then we asked ASANA, each of their answers created a task, obviously, in our survey, in our project. Then we ask ASANA to know what is the best functions that people like the most in ASANA, what is things that people don't like in ASANA, etc. And the software was able to answer us and give us some pretty good answers. So as long as you have the information in the system, it's going to be able to go in there and pick up for you some pretty interesting information to be able to summarize or answer questions on your project. So that's a pretty cool feature. Another feature that you would find is when you want to report. So when I'm starting to digress and to go actually to the next slide, which is the collaboration radar. But if we look at the collaboration radar, we also have the AI giving us the ability to report on our project. So we can, instead of going here and doing our on-track, off-track report on the dashboard, we can ask AI to build the report for our project. And then we're going to set the status, and we're going to say to the AI, please summarize me what happened between those dates and those dates. That could work very well, Steph, for your weekly meetings or fortnightly meetings when you actually review with Joel. Or it could go well as well for you, Arthur, I guess, in product development to see what has happened in the process.
Yes.
So you can set up the timeline and you can go and say, send me a summary. So what would you like to cover in the summary? So you can say, I would like to know why tasks are late and which is the reason of the delay. And then you're going to get a draft update. It's going to go back to what has happened in your project that week, not just the task, but also the changes of date, the comments that were pushed, the changes of value in custom fields, etc. And it's going to try to suggest and come back with a summary and answering your question. And when it does that, it's going to put it in a report that you can push to your boss. Obviously, it's probably better if you can read the report before you start. While I'm doing this, I encourage you to do the same as usual on your ASANA that you have open. You can try those functionalities, they should be available. You can see here well, there's not really an answer very detailed to what I asked, but there is a release milestone coming. Yeah, all right, no task comeback, which is really delayed. There was probably no late task, I don't know. It's on track. So there's no delay. Bad question. That now can be posted. Oops, content. And now we have our summary that we've just released that has been added here to our report. And we can still use the highlights and functionalities that we had in ASANA before. And we are now able to, there was some overdue task. We are able to include our report as we were able to do before. The nice functionality, you can also go directly here in the summary and ask the AI to write things for you or to change the tone or the length of what was reported. So you can also use it here as to improve the text that you report yourself. So that's the next function in AI. The next one that is quite interesting is also going to be in terms of customization. You guys have this problem because you have a large organization where everybody creates fields everywhere, and those fields can be duplicated, and then you have it 20 times and you don't know which one was to be used. So you have now this function which is recommend fields. What it's going to do is going to go through your different tasks that you have in your project and through all the projects you have in your organization, and it's going to start recommending fields that we could use that could be relevant to the project, but that we haven't got yet set up, and that are in the library so that we can reuse the same fields in different projects. So that is a good way to also minimize redundancy and to get better data. Once it has done this, it shows you the field and you can just click add and fill, and it will add the fields and will fill them up with information that they think it's relevant for each task. And if you don't want one of them, you can remove it. So I can go here, I remove this one, I click add and fill, and now it's adding region as a potential custom field, and it's going to fill up the values as well as it goes with the information it thinks it's right for that specific task. So in the NEA rollout, he's not a genius, he managed to actually find that, APAC, etc. Another functionality that you would find in ASANA is creating subtasks. So if you look at the task, you see here, this is a briefing. We have the ability here to ask the AI to draft the subtask. I'm going to not take this one because this one already has a lot of subtasks. I'll find another task here, and I'm going to ask the AI to try to draft the subtask. It's not going to just look at the bullet point and just take each of them as a bullet point. It's going to read it and try to understand it. So in that case, there was none. I need to find one with some description. I'm sorry, demonstration is not perfect. Well, let's go back to the one that I used for my thing before I came here. Normally it will go here, subtask, draft subtask, and it will suggest you the subtask that he thinks is right. You can see that we have done it before, so it has a pre-launch internal and set due dates and range of release, populate revenue driven, etc. It's going to read your text here, the description of the task, and find what subtask could be relevant and organize it for your task. So that is quite interesting, especially when you think about having a meeting with people, and you can put your meeting notes, and then you can discuss what was discussed, and it should then draft your next action after your meeting. So that's a good example as well, that you could have into your AI. In terms of AI, here, so we have the fields. We don't have any other functionality here in the customization for the moment. That should come in the coming months. In the portfolio, however, if we add a field, it hasn't got it in this version. It hasn't got it. In terms of AI, that's for the moment the functionality that we have available in ASANA. So essentially, we have 3 types. We have the intelligent copilot that's here to help us as an end user to complete tasks, to help us to summarize the task and help us to review the content we've written. It's also going to help us to decide of subtasks for a task. And then we have the collaboration radar that is here to help us set up the tool so that will help us find custom fields and reduce custom fields duplication. It's going to help us report on the status of project. It's going to help us to optimize our workflow. And finally, we have the air control, but the air control is not here yet. It will be coming in the quarter 2 or quarter 3. We don't have an exact date, and that's going to help us align the goals with our different projects and activities. Voilà, that's all I have for you today in terms of AI. I don't know if you have any questions. I covered some interesting topics. I'm gonna try.
Thanks, Martin.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Yeah.
That's short, but thank you.
I did notice, Martin, when I go to my project and click on the status up the top, so at the moment it's got on track. And if I click on your draft update with AI, it's looking for, it's opening up a window that says try Asana Intelligence for free. So everything else seemed to work, except that bit there didn't work for me. Yeah, that didn't work. It won't open up to that, but that's the only thing that didn't work.
Okay, so some of the new functions, thank you, Stephanie, some of the new functions are only available in the upper version of the enterprise. I will get the list after this meeting from ASANA on what is coming for which version. It's not exactly clear, to be honest with you. They haven't really released a clear definition of what is included and what is not. It's very hard for me to tell you, but I know that some of the functions will be paid for, they will be upgraded, so that might be the case in that one.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Arthur, John, do you have any question? Oops, made a comment I didn't see.
Well, thank you, Martin. It was nice to see you. Best of luck.
Yeah, always. It's a bit short today. Sorry, the AI is not a huge amount to show you, but I think the approach and getting the understanding of where it's going was it.
Thanks, Martin. I had one question. Maybe I missed it a lot because I had to take a phone call. If you've got another source of informational data that could influence activities, can you use that data if it's like internal and confidential data around planning activities?
Well, as soon as it is in ASANA, you can use it for the AI to leverage it and work with it. At the beginning, I showed, and I'm going to show you again now, you have the ability to define which AI you're going to use. And so when you use the AI from ASANA, so you go to your admin console, and in the admin console, we have the ability to define which AI we're going to use in settings. And so that is going to define if you use, I need to find it again, the AI from ASANA or an external AI.
Yeah. So if we wanted to add,
Yes.
I've got to be careful what I say. If we have our own AI capability that is approved for government usage, could we use that?
You only have access to the one that are set up for
Right.
in ASANA at the moment. You cannot leverage another one.
Right. Okay. That's a bit disappointing.
Which one do you have at the government that you can use?
Well, I can't really disclose, but I'm just saying that if we have our own approved method of having an AI capability, that would preserve the confidentiality of information within our own systems, but we may want to use it to help with scheduling and resourcing.
So you might want, that will come out of the box of ASANA next quarter. So in quarter 2, you will have normally a release that will bring with workload management and forecasting of workload management. So you might be able to use that to leverage it directly in Asana without leveraging the one you have. Obviously, it's like all those systems, they start by having it all closed and then the control, and then they open it to other more third parties. So I guess that's where it's starting today, but hopefully in the future you can use different providers.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Yeah, thanks, Martin. Very good. Have a good day.
Have a good day. Take care.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.